Thursday, everyone, and welcome back to the Digital Desk here at KY3. I'm Tyler Wayne. It is 9 o'clock on a Thursday morning, which means it's time for another edition of On Your Side. We've got a lot of consumer stories to get to this morning, and the first thing we're going to talk about is financial stress. Many experts say it can lead to vulnerability, making you more susceptible to scams. Well, in today's Watching Your Wallet, Rachel DePompa is with us here to find out how worries over money can lead to even more stressful situations.
Americans are worried about money right now, whether it's not having enough in an emergency fund or just struggling under the weight of inflation. Sarah Foster with Bankrate says rising prices are taking a toll mentally on Americans, and that's leaving many vulnerable to scams.
We've actually seen research that suggests that it's the most financially vulnerable Americans who are more likely to fall for fraud. And what I think that kind of shows is that when you are stressed and worried about money, it almost kind of makes it harder for you to think long term and make decisions. And you're more likely to maybe be led down impulsive or emotional ones.
Foster says it goes both ways, too. There's even research to suggest when the economy feels tough, more people might commit fraud because they're worried about making ends meet. She says if you're feeling stress, you need to acknowledge it and slow down before making any big decisions.
But scammers are really preying on your financial strain and your stress, and they're wanting to take advantage of it. So don't really let that stress be an extra tax on your money. I think scammers really try to cash in on that fear, and they try to sell you hope too.
If a deal through email, text, or over the phone sounds too good to be true, it likely is. Be wary of any unsolicited offers and be careful when you look for help online. Make sure that you are on a real and trusted website. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
All right, and this morning we're going to switch gears and test out a product to see if it actually works. And this morning we're going to start with the question: what if there was a way you could blow dry your hair and also do your makeup or maybe brush your teeth, ultimately saving you time? Well, that's the concept behind our latest Does It Work product. Rachel Hackbarth is here this morning to try out this hair dryer holder in this week's Does It Work?
This is the InnoLife hair dryer stand meant for use at your home, the salon, or even grooming your pets. The makers claim this $24.99 device will basically blow dry your hair for you, hands-free, saving you time and energy while you're getting ready. Christy Kirk is helping us test this out.
Easy. Three steps.
Those simple steps: attaching these pieces and filling this base up with water so everything stays in place.
Should just pop up. There we go. It says forcefully. Do it forcefully.
This hair dryer holder that we found on Amazon can turn 180 degrees. The stainless steel pole is adjustable, reaching up to 59 inches, allowing you to get all sorts of angles of your hair.
Yeah, you could either put it on the floor, I think it's tall. Yeah, you put it on the floor, or you could put it on your counter.
All that's left is attaching our hair dryer.
It appears that it's sturdy enough, and if we were to put, this is what I'm kind of concerned about. Okay, there we go. Hey, look at that.
The blow dryer fits. It's stabilized and secure just as promised. Christy thinks it works and could be great for not only people who are in a rush, but also those who are unable to lift a heavy dryer for long periods of time.
I think for some people that have, some kind of issues, handling things, I think this could be really helpful. So I don't know if I would use it, but I think there's a market for it.
For Does It Work, I'm Rachel Hackbarth.
And see, this is the part of the show where I wish I could hear you guys talking back to me to see what you actually think about this product. Don't think it would come in handy for me, given the fact that I don't really have too much hair up here. But this morning we are going to switch gears and talk about financial aid. If you do have a child applying to colleges in the next year, you'll want to watch out for a recruiting technique where colleges offer more financial aid to freshmen than they do in future years. In this Watching Your Wallet, Rachel DePompa is back with us this morning to explain why you need to look closely at your financial aid package.
About 80% of colleges award more financial aid to freshmen than they do in future years. This is according to Robert Farrington, the founder of the College Investor. He says it's called front-loading financial aid. Farrington says parents, it's important to realize that you could be getting more help in the first year than you will in subsequent years, which means Future years may be more expensive out of pocket.
The important thing for families to remember is that the first year is always the cheapest. Beyond front loading, which can reduce your financial aid in future years by an average of about $1,000 or more, prices are rising as well. Average tuition and room and board are going up 3 to 8% per year for college, so you just need to do the math.
Farrington encourages families to plan for prices to rise at least 10% every single year. That way you have a buffer built in. He also says it's so important to read the fine print of any financial aid letter you get.
When you actually get to the financial aid award portion, such as Pell Grants, scholarships, you want to understand the terms and conditions and how you can get those renewed in future years. For example, Pell Grants are federal grants and they're based on your FAFSA and your income and your assets. So if those don't change very much year to year, you can probably count on that.
When it comes to university grants and scholarships, you really need to understand the terms and conditions and whether any scholarships are hard to renew after the first year. Or it could require something very hard for a freshman to get, such as a 4.0 GPA. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
All right, and now we're going to switch gears and talk about a story titled Watching the Watchers. Perhaps you saw it on our newscasts last week here at KY3. Your car may already be in a police database, photographed, time-stamped, and located without a warrant, without suspicion, and without your knowledge. One company's cameras are used to catch criminals in thousands of communities across the nation, but national investigative reporter Brennan Keefe is here this morning asking the question, who's watching the watchers?
Flock safety cameras continue to pop up around town
to ensure that car thieves and violent criminals have almost no chance to escape. They've been helping catch suspects quickly.
We're just trying to keep you safe.
Flock cameras have revolutionized local law enforcement.
The system has helped them arrest violent offenders and recover stolen cars.
An advantage they say is priceless.
Just help them get a dangerous man off the street.
They tracked his car down using Flock cameras.
The cameras take a picture of every car that drives by.
The cameras are designed to catch criminals, but they also create a searchable database of every car that passes.
All day it's just reading tags.
They're continuously recording.
It's just a tool to help us catch criminals.
We're going to catch everyone.
We have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing.
Chrisana Elzer learned the power of Flock firsthand.
You were in town from 11:52 until 12:09. Exactly. Like I said, nothing gets in or out of the town without us knowing.
When a Colorado police officer showed up at her door holding Flock snapshots of her truck.
And here's when you left at 12:09. That's when you left town.
To get?
No, to stop at Ridge Trail.
Wait a minute.
And take a package. Well, there's no shushing. I don't need to be.
I need to know where this is.
The first thing he pulled out on the body cam is that Flock picture, the clear photograph of your car.
But here's your vehicle in the neighborhood many, many times, apparently casing houses, because you just can't drive through for work or visit other businesses. You can only be casing houses.
It is her. It is 100%. It is locked in. There is zero doubt. I wouldn't have come here unless I was 100% sure. 100%. It is certain. It is on video. You're obviously welcome to go to court.
Chrisana was charged with stealing a package, but it wasn't her. The porch pirate was somebody else.
Multiple times you tried to show him your video evidence. He didn't want to see it.
Even when I called him back, he said, that's not my job.
You looked at a time of a crime. You saw my vehicle entering in the Flock camera.
No, what I did was I did an investigation.
You called my wife a liar. You said this is fact.
I have video evidence. I don't know what you want me to say.
The charges were dropped after Chrisana spent weeks trying to get the police chief to look at her evidence. Time-stamped video from her truck and a neighbor's doorbell camera showing she wasn't at the scene of the crime.
What does it say about where we are that you feel you have to have more cameras than the police have in order to make sure you can prove yourself innocent?
It sounds like it flipped the script to you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
Without a Flock camera, that detective would not have been at her door. By his own admission, he pulled out the Flock picture of her car. Do you want to apologize to Chrisana Elzer for what happened to her?
For the police misusing the tools? I don't think that I have to apologize for him.
He wasn't charged with a crime. He wasn't, other than being reprimanded for his attitude.
Sure. No, but I would tell you that, should I apologize for somebody misusing a tool? I don't think so.
Flock Safety Chief Communications Officer Josh Thomas.
Who's watching the watchers in these cases?
Well, the city council. The city owns the data, so city council would have the appropriate responsibility in that case. Our point of view has always been that it is not Flock's job to police the way police do their work.
Flock license plate readers don't just scan tags looking for stolen cars or vehicles on a hot list. The cameras take a photo of every car that passes, stamped with the precise time and location. The more cameras you pass, the clearer the picture of your movements. All of that data is saved in a database for 30 days, shared with connected police departments, allowing the government to go back in time to see where your car was and when. No warrant required, whether you're suspected of a crime or not.
Why not just do hot list alerts? It's because the investigative value here is immense. Otherwise, you're going back to the old way of policing, which is an eyewitness saw something. They're going to call in and report it. And a police officer has to go stop every yellow Jeep that looked like that, or every person who's described a certain way. Instead, with an LPR, you can actually find the objective data you need. It's the new way of policing, which is precise. Instead of dragnet, it actually becomes precision policing. So I would challenge back that same notion and say, hot listing is not the way to go.
Because police departments not only save typically 30 days of every vehicle that passes every one of their cameras, investigators also have access to the same data from every department or private business that shares cameras with them.
We have well over 1,000 cameras that we have access to right now.
Flock says 6,000 local governments use its cameras, many sharing data with each other.
Flock becomes more powerful, not just more profitable, the more agencies who are part of the network.
That's their entire business model. That's why they're worth $7.5 billion.
The whole idea is crowdsourcing, right?
Yes.
But it's crowdsourcing with agencies rather than the crowd. And the crowd is actually being surveilled by the agencies who are then crowdsourcing with each other.
Yeah, the crowd's the product. We are the product.
Jason Hunyar lives in Dunwoody, Georgia. The Atlanta suburb was an early Flock customer with cameras all over town.
Dunwoody shares with over 1,000 external agencies all of our data.
So he filed records requests with the city for Flock's audit logs.
Despite 30 records requests, you don't know who's watching you and your family in Dunwoody in other agencies and what they're looking for.
Correct.
Every time somebody logs in and tries to perform a search in Flock, it is cataloged. And that's there in an audit log that's immutable. So there's public accountability in this.
They gave you an estimate of over $500,000 for you as a resident of Dunwoody to see records of the system they're using to surveil you.
Yes, yes. Just to see who is looking at our data.
Who monitors the camera footage?
Hunyar went to city council with the limited Flock audit records Dunwoody gave him.
And there's 2 agencies that are on there that are literally labeled delete and do not use.
Nobody from Flock Safety is accessing or monitoring your footage. Once again, I have evidence of Flock employees looking at parks, schools, playgrounds.
The audit logs also showed Flock executives watching private cameras inside the city's Jewish Community Center, which the mayor confirmed.
Members of the Flock sales team were using it as a demonstration.
Why didn't Flock find those vulnerabilities?
Why did it take a citizen? Sorry, go ahead.
We actually can't talk about the JCC by name, so we can talk about something else there.
Well, why can't you talk about the JCC?
Because we've worked with their team and we're not going to talk about that.
A Flock PR person stopped our interview twice when we tried to ask about Flock employees viewing cameras inside the Jewish Community Center.
Did the people in those videos give permission to be part of a demo?
We're not going to answer questions about the JCC. Not answer questions about JCC. But any partnership goes.
I have to ask the question however you guys want to answer it. And if you want to say you can't answer it, you can't answer it. That's fine. But I have to ask the question. I can't, it's not a PR video. This isn't like a promotional video. I think
it's pretty clear it's not a PR video. We're good though. I think that people from the community are raising appropriate concerns about who has access to what cameras. I think it's appropriate to ask those questions. And I think it's appropriate for us to also say that we had permission from the cities to demonstrate how these cameras work.
I'm here to express my support for Flock.
At Dunwoody City Council, one resident spoke up in favor of renewing the Flock contract.
I believe they're a practical and effective tool to help keep our neighborhood safe.
Did you know that family members of Flock employees were going to city council meetings speaking positively about the product without disclosing that their family member makes their living off of Flock?
I did not know that, no.
The speaker did not disclose that his son works for Flock as the senior director of growth.
These cameras assist law enforcement.
Should employees' family members disclose that their son makes their entire living off of Flock when speaking positively to a government body about a contract that's pending with your company?
I think that's a fair request.
Dunwoody ultimately voted to renew its Flock contract, but with new restrictions on the company.
So we will no longer be a demonstration location for Flock. That keeps them out of places they should not be.
You told me you weren't in the town of Bomar. I have you roughly 20 times this month alone.
Chrisana Elzer lives just yards from the same Flock camera used to falsely accuse her of a crime.
It's hard to drive that way and then look up and see it pointed right at you and wondering, did you put my license plate in a system and now it's tinging at you every time it reads it, and now you're just kind of watching me or taking note because you ended up being embarrassed you were wrong?
Every technology comes with a cost. In your view, the benefits outweigh those costs.
There's no question about it. I think that crime is too easy to go unsolved today. Horrible, violent crimes. And I think that when cities remove technology, they remove tools from the ability to solve those crimes, it actually has a negative cycle that impacts those cities.
Watching everyone to find the criminals among us, but who is watching the watchers?
All right, now that Colorado officer is still on the force in our investigative team. We did reach out to him for comment, but he has not responded at this time. Meanwhile, Flock Safety says it has unveiled a new audit assistance tool to help police departments flag questionable searches by officers. Now, at this time, we're going to circle back around to higher education and talk about a story that you'll be able to watch tonight on our newscasts here at KY3 at 10 o'clock, in fact. If you want higher wages and better jobs, a college degree can be the ticket to success in some fields, but typical four-year universities are not for everyone. So many students are choosing certain for-profit schools that some warn can cost big money, but don't deliver on the big promises that they make.
They tell them if you'll go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $80,000 in debt, we'll have a good paying job waiting for you at the end of the rainbow. Not true.
So again, coming up tonight at 10 o'clock, our national investigative team is digging into claims being made by for-profit colleges across the country. They'll also be looking at federal data from a program that's designed to help students get relief from debt that's racked up at schools that misled or deceived them. All right, and now we're going to switch gears once again and talk about a different topic here this morning. Many of us take simple errands for granted, but for people with vertigo, even a grocery store can feel overwhelming. So therapists help them train for real life in a safe place. Aging Untold's Atisha Powell is here this morning to tell us more about a virtual reality therapy that could help.
This is a nightmare for dizzy people, I just want you to know, because it's just so much visual stimulation.
Lisa McCulley is testing her ability to handle everyday activities, building her strength, balance, and reflexes. 10 years ago, she was diagnosed with BPPV, a common inner ear disorder that can cause vertigo.
And I got up one morning and I got off the couch to go get the coffee, and the spinning I literally was thrown against the furniture. The television fell on top of me. I lacerated my eye here. I broke my nose. There was blood everywhere.
She fell several more times, suffering 2 concussions, and the fear of falling consumed her.
Extremely anxiety producing. Once you've had a fall like that, that's all you think about.
Aging Untold's gerontologist Sam Craddock says that fear can become its own setback.
When you're suffering with a vertigo issue, which is just an acute dizzy phase, the fear of falling and being injured again can be overwhelming.
Then she discovered immersive virtual reality therapy, letting therapists simulate a store or park and track her balance in real time. And Craddock says VR can help patients practice without the risk.
She was able to do those virtual reality things without putting herself in harm's way. She was getting that extra support, like a walker for someone or crutches. She had that extra support system. It allowed her to get herself moving again and do real life things without the fear of the harm and the fall. And so it was able to get her back into life.
Between the medicine and the therapy, I'm almost normal.
With the right treatment plan and support, many people with vertigo can regain their independence and their quality of life.
All right, now let's talk about buying now and paying later. It's an option that you've probably seen online and in stores, but it can make a purchase feel more manageable by breaking it into smaller payments. Consumer advocates say it can also be easy to overuse as well. Consumer investigator Carice Jackman spoke with the consumer watchdog about what to watch out for and simple ways that you can protect yourself.
Buy now, pay later plans can help people split a purchase into smaller payments. But Teresa Murray, consumer watchdog at US PIRG, says using them often can leave some consumers in over their heads.
What we've seen is a lot of people getting themselves into a huge debt trap.
Murray says many of these plans work by splitting a purchase into 4 payments, often with the first due at checkout. But she says consumers need to understand the rules before signing up because buy now, pay later plans do not come with the same protections as credit cards.
Unlike with credit cards, like they don't care what your income is, they don't care what your ability to repay is. So a lot of people have gotten into problems with not realizing the rules, not realizing that if, the buy now, pay later company comes to get money out of their bank account and there's no money in there, then they get hit with a late fee from the buy now, pay later company. You might get an overdraft, or just non-sufficient funds because they tried, and it's just a whole mess.
Murray also recommends reading the term carefully before using one of these plans. Many buy now, pay later programs do not charge interest if you pay on time, but if you miss a payment, some can charge late fees, and in some cases, you may owe interest, not just for 1 month, but for the repayment period. Murray says it's also important to keep track of how many plans you're using and when each payment is coming out.
People should take a hard look at what they're actually using buy now, pay later for, and is that a purchase that could wait? Start with keeping track. Just if you do it, keep track of it, know when these payments are going to come out of your bank account.
With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Carice Jackman.
Now let's talk about spring cleaning. It's a chance to physically and mentally get a fresh start at the beginning of a new season. Many of us, in fact, look forward to tossing out old clothes and household items, but what about clearing out old debt and reckless spending habits? Well, Don Gee had a chance to talk to an expert in loan rescue and debt negotiation to find out how to put your house in order when it comes to your budget and your bank account.
The last thing in your life you want to be a mess is your financial affairs. Regardless of the time of year, it's important to align what you make, what you spend, and what you save to help you make ends meet.
A lot of people are reactive when it comes to their finances. Let's be proactive.
If you prepare and plan, problems, even financial ones, are often less severe. Jack Wallace, loan expert for Yrify, a national specialty consumer finance lender, says most folks just don't think of spring cleaning their finances, but they will clean out their closet yearly. With the price of staples like gas, clothing, and food on the rise, it's important to be aware of every dollar you spend. Wallace says it's not that hard. You need a budget to start.
Well, I think it's very important if you're old-fashioned and getting a yellow pad of paper and writing it down, or if you're into modern technology, using an Excel spreadsheet to create the budget so you can actually see it in black and white right in front of you.
A budget stored in your brain relies on math in your mind that sooner or later may not add up. Write it down. Keeping track of your dollars and cents makes sense. Also, check your credit report at least once a year, quarterly if possible.
You want to make sure that things are being reported properly on your credit report, but you also want to make sure that there's no fraud going on that you don't know about, and that's one way to find out about it.
What about your debt? Total consumer debt in the U.S. hit a record $18.8 trillion at the end of 2025, and student loan debt is sitting at approximately $1.83 trillion.
You want to consolidate, whether it's your student loan accounts or whether it's your credit card accounts, you want to get it into one monthly payment.
And don't just consolidate, automate. It will ensure you pay that bill on time every month while helping you build your credit score.
One is it'll reduce your incidence of delinquency or default, and you may get an interest rate discount.
Wallace also sends a financial reminder your federal student loans are due again.
And we want to make sure that everybody knows that it's time to repay those loans.
If you don't pay or you become delinquent, it could lead to damaged credit, garnishment, and collection costs.
And they were loans, they were not grants, so they need to be repaid.
Finally, get your spending in check with some budgeting basics.
Using the 50-30-20 rule, which is looking at spending being mandatory spending being about 50% of your take home, your discretionary spending being about 30%, and your savings or debt reduction being about 20%.
This is one we mention often now. It's a year-round task. Boost your emergency fund to ensure that you have 3 to 6 months of living expenses so you're ready to face any of life's little or big surprises. Cancel forgotten or unused subscriptions. Update your financial passwords on all your accounts to prevent hacking, and don't use the same password for all of your accounts. And if you don't have security alerts set up for the financial institutes handling your money, now is the perfect time to get it done. Helping you make ends meet, I'm Dawn G.
All right, Dawn, thank you for that. And we're going to stay with the theme of finances this morning. Interest rates are still high, and borrowing money is more expensive than it's been in years. In fact, a lot of Americans are making credit mistakes more than they realize. In this Watching Your Wallet, consumer investigator Rachel DePompa is back once again. She's sitting down with a NerdWallet credit expert to clear up some big myths about your credit score.
Let's dive right in. Myth number 1. That you have to carry a small balance on your card from month to month to improve your credit score. Sarah Rathner, a personal finance expert with NerdWallet, says not true.
And what you're doing in this instance is you're needlessly paying interest on a balance that's small enough that you might be able to afford to just pay it off entirely and not carry any credit card debt at all. And the thing is, you can build and establish your credit in a really good way by paying all of your bills in full on time every month.
Myth number 2, that you should have one credit score, that what you see maybe in your banking app is your score. Rathner says, not true.
That is one of many scores that you have. It's a way to see generally where you are, but it is not necessarily the same credit score that a lender is going to be using when they are evaluating a loan or a credit card application that you fill out.
And myth number 3. Once you've paid off a card, you should close your account immediately. Rathner says while that can be a good move if it's a card that's been getting you into trouble because you keep using it, she says there are alternatives because closing a credit card account can affect your credit score. She says it can knock you down a couple of points temporarily and adjust your total credit limit, which can affect the percentage of credit you are using, and it can reduce the average age of your credit accounts. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
And now this morning, let's talk about cars. If you've been shopping for one lately, then you've probably noticed that prices are continuing to climb. A new Sticker Shock consumer report takes a closer look at what's driving those costs. In this Watching Your Wallet, consumer investigator Carice Jackman is back again this morning. She's breaking down the key factors and what you can do to avoid paying more than you actually need to.
Affordability is on the forefront of all consumers' mind in this economy.
Daniel Green, Senior Director of Consumer Protection and Product Safety at the National Consumers League, says growing concern about vehicle affordability spurred the group to take a closer look in its new report, Sticker Shock.
And some lawmakers are making the claim that, well, in order to make vehicles more affordable, we actually have to weaken federal fuel economy standards or safety standards because we think that's increasing vehicle prices. Well, we looked at the data and we found that if you want to make vehicle ownership or vehicle affordability better, the worst thing you could do is weaken federal fuel economy and safety standards.
In their 71-page report, the National Consumers League found federal safety standards and fuel economy standards make up just a small share of the increase in vehicle prices. The report points instead to a mix of other factors, including more expensive vehicle types, higher-end features, dealer markups, and automaker costs and margins. Green also says the cost of vehicle ownership, like fuel, insurance, maintenance, and repairs, can add up well beyond the sticker price over time.
So cost-conscious consumers who are now going to see gasoline prices exceeding $4 a gallon, there's going to be a shift toward more fuel-efficient vehicles, hybrids, perhaps even electric vehicles, as the only alternative to really avoid gasoline prices.
So what can you do if a new car is out of reach? Green says start by maintaining your current vehicle, which can help you delay a costly purchase. You can also look at the used market, where there may still be some deals depending on where you live. And while you may not control pricing, you can control how you shop, set a clear budget, and focus on features you actually need, not the ones that drive the price higher. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Carice Jackman.
All right, and now we are to the end of the show. This is the point where we like to end things on a positive note. Many of us have been lucky enough to have one set of twins, at least one set of twins in our class growing up, but at one Missouri elementary school, it's not just two turning heads. As Local News Live's Steve Harris shows us, this kindergarten class is taking twinning to a whole new level. All right, so it looks like we're having some technical difficulties with the audio there, but we do have this story on our website at ky3.com. It's titled Seeing Double, 5 Sets of Twins Attending Same Missouri Nursing School. Again, it's titled Seeing Double, 5 Sets of Twins Attending Same Missouri School. So be sure you go and check that out on our website at ky3.com whenever